Hey everyone, Nathan Duce here, Homestar Financial. Today I got a wonderful person to visit with us, Tangie Evans with Heritage Oaks Realty.
Hi guys.
So today we want to come and talk to you about a couple of things that you absolutely do not want to do if you want to have a smooth closing and a smooth purchase on your next home, right? So Tangie, I know we got a couple things that you and I were talking about.
Absolutely.
And there's always a couple things that, ends up happening. So what do you want to help us out with on this today? Like, what can you tell me?
Well, I'd say the first thing that you don't want to do when you're purchasing a house is you don't want to put cash in your bank account. If you put cash in your bank account, everybody needs to know where it came from. Just don't put it in there. Use that for paying your bills or something else. Don't put it in your bank account.
But I thought cash was a good thing. Like, if I got a lot of cash, I can use that to make this deal work, right? Doesn't cash came?
Well, as long as your lender knows where the cash came from.
That's right. So Tangie, is a great point. You got to have a paper trail if you've got cash involved. And so think about things like, oh, hey, I was going to sell that old car in my backyard, or I've got all this furniture I was going to sell, or jewelry. We've got to be able to have a paper trail. Show something that we can show, hey, here's a bill of sale, maybe here's like a online appraisal or a car valuation or something to document like what something was worth, in order to use that to basically document that it's a legitimate transaction, is what the underwriter and the banks are going to want to see, right? So cash can be very bad. So Tangie, let's say that I was going to give you $5,000 in cash so you could go buy your house. What would you do with that cash? Like, what's a good way to maybe mitigate the effects of having cash?
If I was given cash, I would use it to pay bills or whatever I could do to not touch my credit.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, right. So you can use your cash to pay like your normal bills. So a lot of us, we all like to take out our plastic, and use like our debit cards and stuff, like get the old MasterCard out, swipe it at the bank. If you're on direct deposit, you can let those paychecks hit your bank account and then just spend the cash. And it means when you go to the gas station, you got to walk up to the attendant, hey, here's my 50, put it on number 3, right?
That's
or
right.
Whip out that cash. When you're paying cash, sometimes you got to go to the local utility provider, pay for those in cash. That's a good way to burn through your cash and not dent the money in your bank account. So that's a great place to start. Okay, so cash is very bad in a transaction if you can't show where it came from. Number 2, let's talk about number 2, right? So probably the best way to think about this is like, there's certain things that happen in people's lives that make them want to find a new house, right?
Right.
So
such as divorce.
Divorce is a great one. I've been divorced twice. Every time I got divorced, I ended up moving and buying a new house. I think that's probably pretty common, right?
Right.
Yes. And so
if you get divorced, you need to let your lender know. Try not to get divorced if you're in the middle of a transaction. Just wait.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Just wait. But if you're thinking, okay, I want to get a divorce and I need to sell my house, chances are you're going to have to go through the divorce process first. It's best to get that done first before you start trying to sell your house. Okay? Because they're going to want to know, they need to know who's getting the proceeds.
Yes.
That's what your agent and the lender is going to need to know.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I actually had a transaction that started with another bank, and when the bank loan officer said, hey, where are you getting the money from? The guy said, oh, well, my ex-wife has to give me $120,000 in order to make this deal go through. And the loan officer had no idea that there was anything happening. That got disclosed to the bank, to the underwriters, and they shut the whole deal down and told him he couldn't close, so the divorce was final. And they had, they were still like halfway through it. They still had 2 months to go. So,
And I would say you don't want to purchase a house anyways if you're still married to somebody. They could actually have some rights to your new property.
Yeah,
so
Georgia,
we don't want to do that.
Georgia's a 50-50 state, whether you are on title or not. If you're married, they've got rights to that as an ownership interest.
Yeah.
But talk to an attorney about that kind of stuff.
For sure.
But so I think the message here is to be clear about like, why are you buying a house? If like you're having a relationship change, if you're getting married, if you have a fiance going on the loan with you, if someone is getting divorced, what exactly is your status? There's a good way to make that work. Either way, whether you're divorced or not divorced, and make it an easy way to go through. But you got to be upfront with your team, like your agent and your loan officer, so we know how to best help walk you through that process, right? There's another thing that also this is probably the most common thing when it comes to a good way to screw up a purchase deal on a house, right?
Right.
What are we talking about? Your credit.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch any parts of your revolving credit. You don't want to go buy a car. You don't want to go buy a bunch of furniture for your new house. We're going to wait on that. Do not mess with your credit.
Yes.
Use that cash.
Yes, that's
Use
right.
that cash.
If you just bought a car and you know your credit's getting pulled and it's only been like a couple of weeks, make sure you're disclosing that. Hey, Mr. Loan Officer, by the way, I may have something on my credit report that hasn't shown up yet, and it's a car I just bought that's got $1,000 a month payment on it. You know, that can certainly have a massive impact on your ability to buy the house that you thought you were going to get, because when those banks look at your total underwriting obligation, like your total financial obligations, all right, a couple days before closing, the underwriter is going to do a soft check on your credit. And if there's inquiries there for things that, you know, you answer that, yeah, I just got a new car, that could blow your whole deal up very quickly. And so it's not uncommon, you know, that when you get ready to buy a house, you get excited about it. You know, maybe you just got a new job, you got some cash on a maybe like a sign-on bonus, something like that, and maybe you spend that money on a car. Maybe you go, you know, get ready to get like new furniture for the house,
right?
Stuff like that.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
people think, oh, I'm under contract. Let me go buy all my furniture and all my fun things.
Yeah.
No, we're not doing that yet.
Right. So you really want to keep things as copacetic as you possibly can, right? So whatever your credit is when you actually get approved for the loan, don't change anything. Don't charge up your credit cards. Don't let any bills go to collections. Like if you're getting payment notices coming in, make sure you get those paid, because you can't afford a credit score drop because you charged up a credit card, or you had a collection hit and they had to do a refresh on your credit, something like that. You also really want to avoid those new debts, like those big installment debts are a huge no-no, right? So there you go, folks. So there's the top 3 things, right? Keep track of your cash. Make sure you got a paper trail on it. If you got a relationship change, make sure you're disclosing that so people know how to help you with it. And number 3, don't mess with your credit once you get that pre-approval letter in hand. Wait till you're closed, right? You know, there's one more that we could add on here. Should we talk about the jobs? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Don't change your job, folks, until you're closed on a house.
Right, because they will find out. Your lender will find out if they're not able to get that verification of employment because you switched jobs. That's going to be a problem.
Yes, it absolutely will be a rabbit hole. So that was one we just threw in there. We could probably do a whole another 10-minute video just on job changes and how that can affect your ability to get qualified for a loan. And that's a great idea for another video. Maybe we'll shoot another time.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so guys, if you're still here, thank you for watching. If you have any other questions, put them in the comments below. If you have anything you want to add to that, we'd love to hear from you. Again, this is Nathan at Homestar, and I got Tangie Evans over here with Heritage Oaks Realty here, and she's a fantastic real estate agent. And how long you been doing this, Tangie?
Well, I've been in real estate for 20 years as an investor, but I've been licensed 4.5 years.
Yes, so awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right.